While we are waiting, I encourage everyone to start networking in the chat, so you can write where you are, where are you from, because we are broadcasting live today. Me and Dan, we are broadcasting from Dubai, and we are waiting for another speaker. The Milosh will be speaking from Canada live. Feel free to start networking in chat while we are waiting. Let's wait for a couple minutes more. Please write who are you? What would you like to get from the event?
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you are. It was a bit of a journey for me to join, and I'm really happy that I'm here. And we have a very exciting conversation ahead of us today in the next hour.
Yeah, let's wait again for 1 minute so we should be sure that everyone joined. Meanwhile, I just shared in the chat, we have live chat for everyone. And also we have Q&A options, so feel free to post your Q&A because we will have the Q&A session at the end. And my name is Anastasia Lead. I'll be the moderator of today's webinar, DoDocs and NXT Frontier webinar, AI You Can Reconcile, how to become audit-ready AI for finance teams. Today we have esteemed speakers, Dan Gutkov, who is founder of DoDocs, and Ludmila Pirogova from NXT Frontier. They will tell about themselves a little bit later. And also, I shared all the respectful links in the chat. So please follow DoDocs LinkedIn, sign up for Dan Substack newsletter because it has many insights if you have not been following yet, because it's amazing asset. And also, I shared our speakers LinkedIn. So you can always go and reach out to them in case you have questions. Then make sure that we are recording, if not yet.
Yeah, recording is running.
Okay, so we are recording the session, and we'll share this recording with all the attendees, with you and with your colleagues who registered but didn't have the chance to attend, because sometimes, and we know that sometimes it's hard to find the time, but we are going to talk about very sensitive and very important topics for everyone in the room. And also we have some present and additional trial time for DoDocs users who have not yet tried it. Okay, so let's start. So today we are broadcasting live from Dubai in Canada, and we are running our first DoDocs webinar on AI You Can Reconcile, how to become audit-ready AI for finance team. So let's start, and I encourage our speakers to start and introduce themselves.
I'm happy to start, and welcome everyone to our conversation, to the space. I'm Ludmila, and Dan is with me. He's, as you heard, the founder of DoDocs, and he'll tell more about his story. I come from the world of enterprise regulations, architecture, and essentially making sure that things which we build work, and they work in the long term, and also that they're safe and really valuable for the users. You have those credentials on the screen, and mostly not to impress you, but to share that I've been in those rooms when those conversations were held and decisions were made. My background spans between finance as a CPA here in Canada. Also, I have a global MBA and a lot of a network all over multiple countries and continents. Worked in different regions, and most importantly, I am one of the few in the world certified lead auditors on the ISO 42001. And for those of you, because I don't expect you to know what this is an international standard, which is only 2 years old. And that's a standard on managing AI, essentially AI management systems. This is where we are coming, and this is what I will bring to the table today. Over to Dan.
Thank you, Ludmila. Happy to participate in this amazing webinar. So I'm the founder of 6 companies. Currently, Dudox AI, and I'm leading the team with exceptional experience in enterprise software development, such as software for Swiss Bank, Deutsche Bank, and multiple different customers that we currently have in GCC region, North America, and in Europe. So actually, what we do is we just trying to help people with real automation when in the end of the month you can find that you don't have matched invoices, everything is not that perfectly done in your books, and it's boring, it's painful moments, but we're trying to keep it real, and we're showing you how to automate the whole process of data entry.
And I would love to start and set the stage by stating that AI is already in your finance workflows, even if you don't realize it yet, because the vendors are using it. If your firm or your company is not, or you're about to actually implement something. And Dudox is a perfect example. It's an AI native company, which is really exciting. And we will go over how that technology is different. But practically speaking, AI is already in your finance workflow, and there's OCR tools, bank feeds. And the question isn't if it touched your numbers, it's can you prove what it did? And here in the room, we expect that the multiple types of people, roles, and you have different interests and potentially different challenges, which you might want to discuss with us. Anastasia, probably you can take this over, and we would love to hear from you. Who is in the room?
Yeah, please write your answers in the chat. Please write what is your role, what are your challenges today, and have you been using AI? Maybe it's just ChatGPT or Code Anthropic, or have you been already using automation in your workflows, like some professional extensions? We are very curious, and I believe that it should be very useful for everyone to understand.
And we want to know and to understand better who is in the room, because we will be tailoring our conversation to the level and to the questions, of course, which you may be having. Feel free to actually drop in the chat at any point, but right now we would really love to hear from you. Do we have the chat enabled for the whole groups?
Okay. Yes, for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. While you're having some time to type and maybe share what those things are, and most importantly, what you care for in this webinar, because obviously, since you're here, there is something which you want to get out of it. And this is what we want really to support you to live with. Let's talk about the cost of almost works automation, which Dan is an expert in, Dan and his team.
Yeah, so the most biggest regret is when your system does 80% of the work, and you have to fix other 20 manually. So in this case, it's congratulations, but you are doing 100% of the work in general. So exceptions aren't edge cases, it's the job. So one of our recent clients, it's an accounting firm who has their own platform. It's sold online. They were spending 2 hours manually processing KYC documents for each new customer, and from SMB segment, and they're just struggling to keep up with monthly bank statement processing. After integrating the Docs API, they automate 98% of their document workflows and cut KYC processing time from 2 hours to just 10 minutes. And the result, it was like $8,000 in monthly savings on overpays, only on overpays for the team, and the ability to handle 3x more customers, the same team size. So they didn't hire anyone, and they even opened new revenue stream for their company. So this is the real case, and we have several more. Ludmila?
Yes, and ultimately, just imagine that you have a company and you have all these exceptions, which obviously you have staff, it's, you know, somewhat working, it's painful, and then you implement a new solution and change a couple of processes, and as a result, you, with the same stuff, are able to make more and bring additional revenue. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah, so let's break down some technologies that been known by most part of the market, but probably you haven't heard of some of them. So I just want to highlight some facts. So optical character recognition, called by OCR, was invented actually in 1870 and firstly used in 1950. So the OCR technology, what it does, it recognizes the symbols from the pictures. And so what type of automation we could talk about if we are talking technology that being used in 1950s? So absolutely zero, right? And the next one, more modern one, is RPA. So it stands for robotic process automation, and it was invented in the 90s and this century. And what it does, it automates repetitive tasks. So it's mechanical actions until a tiny unrecognized symbol ruins the whole process. So RPA is loyal until vendor changes one line in the PDF that he sends. So everything then collapses as a house of cards. The example you can see on the screen. So if you give the wrong document to OCR, it will understand and extracts. It will not understand. It will extract the wrong date and the wrong number. It can replace zeros with O's, and it will be fine for it. It will proceed with like no errors logged. What RPA will do the same situation, it will just copy this data and place it into the system. It will enter the data into your accounting system or ERP, and it will be also zero errors for RPA system, right? So it's garbage in, garbage out terminology that we can apply here. And DoDocs is the intelligent system that actually understands what it sees. It can find the relationships between the name of supplier or the client with the entry in your ERP or your accounting system and match them together and update the data correctly according to the rules that you set up when you install the software. So this is how it works into words. Milan?
And maybe if I wrap it up for someone who has not had a deep exposure to the technology, and thanks to that now you do, is imagine that OCR is essentially it sees, but it does not understand. It's like a picture taking. That's it. It got it and it processed and it put it somewhere. There is zero knowledge of what it processed. RPA now understands, but it cannot really match and say if things have changed. And with the introduction of AI, and first vision AI, generic AI, right? We all know, we probably all play with it. It can actually extract information and talk about this information. You almost like can chat with an image. That's what's happening. But for finance, it's not enough to use generic chat with an image processing through ChatGPT. There is a lot of very tedious transformation which needs to take place. And most importantly, for, again, us leaders in finance, it's important to trace the data lineage, where it came from, what has changed, and how it matched our classic evergreen perennial three-way match, a two-way match, right? So this is what's happening beautifully now with the introduction of AI in the Docs solution. And perhaps I'll continue to reiterate, and then Dan, as an expert, will fill us in on some specific elements. This table is for you to get an idea on various functions and various features what this older technology, which was still great, you know, we all probably, or at least, okay, some of us used SAP or Oracle with all these inputs, and they did have OCR components, of course. And then the RPA is built in many of the solutions which you're currently using for documents intake. But almost none of them have an actual AI, which allows us to get all of those tools, including the most important part I would like to highlight for you, including the audit trail. Then please educate us.
So what's the difference? So what's the difference between these systems, right? So as I previously described the approaches, technological approaches, we can get the example of OCR technology implementation in Abby, for example, or Adobe Acrobat. So you just can upload document, open document, and can edit and can grab data out of it as is, right? So nothing special, nothing extra. And as you might know, QuickBooks, for example, has their own OCR, and what it offers you to do is to upload the document, to do the data extraction. You can only verify what it did and confirm or change something, add or delete, and that's it. So with Docs technology, you have multiple different options, starting from automation of data, data validation, data cleaning, documents acquisition from multiple channels, data structuring, and data entry, and in intelligent ways. So it not just does the mechanical work, it thinks, analyzes, and verifies each action, each name, each number, everything. So the Docs brings confidence thresholds, auto root exceptions. Each document leaves an audit trail from ingestion to ledger. And for example, depending on the size of your company, back to my previous example on our recent customer, one reviewer handles 12,000 documents a day with 0 errors during the months. So this is what it brings to the table. And this is the true cost center where everything almost matched and nothing actually does.
Terrific. And now we'll come back to that in a demo, but let's talk about the lane of pain, where we have those exceptions in rework, and this is really familiar. This is part of our life. We have incoming documents, 100%, and then a bunch of them, which may or may not be that percentage, but we're certain that statistically it's more than 20. They become exceptions, some layout changes, etc. And at the end of the day, these exceptions are manual workarounds. We need to talk about them, email, compare, spreadsheet, etc. And all those unresolved items eventually end up either in extra hours, in cost, in audit notes, potentially in write-offs, and of course, the dreaded delayed close. And ultimately, this is an audit risk. So here we have two different worlds in a way which we're consistently talking through is the operations, finance operations. This is where their nights and weekends go. And for the partners, for the executives in the companies, this is where controls break and liability start. And ultimately, what no one owns, if it's, the ball is dropped, then it eventually becomes everyone's problem. Let's move on.
Fully agree. So in the next 5 minutes, we will show you the data entry automation, how it starts from your messenger or mailbox, where all the fields have been validated, cleaned, recalculated, and structured according to the requirements by the docs. All the data being entered into accounting system, and all transactions from the bank statement being categorized and entered accordingly. So it's audit-ready traces of all actions being logged and ready to review.
Yes, I love this section because this allows us to take a sneak peek of how things can run differently. Let's see.
Yeah, so here's a demo of how we start working with the system. And you can log in to multiple different options of accounting platforms, ERPs. We have only 3 versions right now of account system, so, but it's much more available on the platform. And you can see that we can upload pictures or documents via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is also integrated to do docs, and document being uploaded, and it started to be processed by the system immediately. So in the log of document processing, you can see how it goes. So it's happening in the real life. Right now, we'll show you the example of this particular check. So it's a regular invoice from the store. And the second document is a bank statement. It will be processed in a few seconds, depending on the plan and on the integration. The speed will be slightly different, but still we're processing in several seconds all documents. Here is our QuickBooks account, and you can see that data being processed and entered into correct section. All the data being validated and entered in correct format. And now get back to the bank statement. It's still processing, but in a few seconds we'll see it already entered into QuickBooks. So to be perfectly, ideally categorized, all this data will be matched to your rules. So when you integrate into docs, you're providing the rules that you want us to follow, and all the transactions from the bank statement will be categorized accordingly and inputted into the system according to provided rules. And here you can see how the process looks in the middle. So this is the, let's say, the backend of the system, where you can see the JSON format of each file, if each invoice, each bank statement, and how perfectly everything being recognized and data being extracted. So we have accuracy rate to every document, every field, and you can get reports and analytics if you want connected to this reports. We have webhook journal. You can manage your webhooks. You can manage API settings. We have special feature of creating document templates. So let's say you have invoices with stamps and you need to extract data from stamps. You can create the template for this specific document in just 15 seconds. So you need to upload this document. Our system will extract data categories, and that's it. Our system is trained and will get 100% data extraction from this type of documents further on. Also, we have log that Ludmila mentioned previously. So it's audit-ready logs of each transaction, each document status that been processed through our system. You can set up WhatsApp numbers for one or several multiple users, so they can all submit documents to our system. So this is, in a short way, the overview of the system. I encourage you to try it and reach out with any questions you have.
And feel free to, of course, put your questions, but also I want to share that it does look so simple, almost like magic. Yet it's not magic, it's very well executed workflow with a lot of our processing behind. And it actually becomes a measurable, traceable, and defensible intelligence.
Yeah, so we can show documents to your auditors, and we can demonstrate every line of the processing and every second what happened when, and what status or current status of the data or the document, and all the exceptions and the errors. Let me proceed with the story of another customer. So the government department that we are working with, they received almost 12,000 compliance document monthly from 150 regional branches, different organizations that work with this government entity, and 5 officers worked overtime just to keep up with the web work. After the docs being piloted, not fully integrated, only the pilot, one person now handles everything and processing documents automatically and flagging only real problems for view. They literally went from weeks-long backlogs and to the same day approvals. So before the docs, about 10 minutes per document, end to end, and audit preparation meant days of hunting through the system and emails after documents. So after the docs, 5 to 10 seconds per document processing, because they have very big capacity of the documents at the same time. Exceptions surface instantly instead of months end, and audit package generated in minutes, not days. In real terms, they went from needing 5 staff to stay on top of 12,000 documents per month to managing the same volume with 1 reviewer and the no months and backlog. we didn't add AI, we removed the errors. So this is what we did. Less house, mostly. We stopped closing books at midnight for them.
That's terrific. And I actually want to emphasize that that was not about replacing people. That was about stopping them from doing what they never wanted to do in the first place and essentially relieving them. There is a lot of that type of activity in finance. But let's now change gears and let's talk about what our, next slide, please. Let's talk about what really keeps some of us up at night. And any executive in finance knows that AI regulations are coming. No one clearly knows what this means. And we wanted to actually share with you the stories of what happened this year when AI claims met the regulators. These three stories specifically all are coming from the States. And there are examples in other jurisdictions. States was a bit more proactive, mostly because the SEC has now jurisdiction over AI claims. And I would say AI overstating. They call it AI washing. The first firm, Presto Automation, this year, they claimed 90% automation. This happened multiple times. You've heard it in the news, not just about Presto, but other companies. Effectively, they overstated. And almost every process in AI, when they were helping drive-throughs, still required some human touch, human in the loop. And SEC, when they reviewed it, they not only penalized the company, they issued cease and desist for deceptive claim. The second case had a total cost of whooping $250 million, not MB, billion dollars this year, because they had AI 5 years in a row, and that was related to investments. Essentially, that's the registrant for the SEC. They used AI that was all great, yet they had no governance over the 5 years, how they improved these models. And as a result, they not only got almost 100 million in penalty, but more than 150 in reimbursements because of the lack of control and oversight. And the third firm, again, they claimed that there was a AI engine, but really people were processing the orders and they treated it as AI washing. And at this point, it's becoming really serious, not only in the States, we have example here in Canada, and it's extremely serious in the EU. So the difference between companies who actually used AI and got in trouble and those who have not is those who have not, they started to ask questions, how they can prove and trace their AI. Let's move on. The second element, the second part of this is that there is a pattern. The pattern is know what kind of questions will be asked and how to answer them. Because at the end of the day, if your team says we use AI for, it doesn't matter, it may be for finance processing, for investments, for some support, even if you use it just for research and your juniors do ChatGPT and that's it, you still need to prove and answer these questions, where it lives, what it touches, how it's controlled. Essentially, proof is becoming a perimeter. Otherwise, and we'll talk about this more, auditors, regulators, and insurers are going to be asking more and more uncomfortable questions. So how can we prove our tools tomorrow? And the last piece which I wanted to share from the regulatory landscape change is the EU AI Act. It has been enacted in February and it's actually in enforcement right now. What's whooping is the penalties, 35 million euros or 7% of global revenue. Think about it. If you're a finance firm and you have some clients in EU, you don't even have an office in EU, but you have clients in EU, you are exposed. And what regulators now expect is this whole lineage, right? And the truth is, AI washing or our AI are not knowing what to do is, it doesn't excuse you from being penalized by regulators. So really, if you say we use AI, you are now accountable. And let's move on to the real useful way of looking at this thing, which is how can you prove it? How can you prepare for the regulatory and insurance advent, so to speak? 5 questions which you can ask yourself, and this already helps to expose where you have gaps or where you're strong. Who owns AI risk? Who essentially, if AI makes a 100,000 mistake, whose name will be in the finding? Second, show me under 5 minutes where your sensitive data traveled. Where does it leave, where it started? The jurisdictions now matter more than ever because in the Middle East, there is a requirement to keep the data locally. And again, there are similar requirements in the EU. The lineage, can you trace how these input, the documents, and then transformation and the output are what AI touched, what humans changed, and when? The logs. What happens if it stopped working? How do we deal with exceptions? And finally, are the whole oversight and disclosure. Can you explain in plain language to someone who's asking how AI works? So these 5 questions, while they sound simple, really are your first step and the best bet to prepare. And this is not a judgment. This is no, mark for answering wrong. These are the questions. So once you start going down this route, you'll know where your gaps are and you'll know how to fix them. Let's move on. And ultimately, at the end of the day, we have 2 different changes, 2 different lanes which are happening. And I'll let Dan talk more about the operational aspect of what's happening there. But from the executives, the partners, the founders, the boards, the question is, can they finally answer where we are using AI? Can they and we be better prepared for the audit surprises? And ultimately, have the evidence, have the understanding what's actually happening, and again, be prepared. Then what's your view?
Yeah, so operators will get fewer fires, executives get fewer surprises, and everyone will get the evening backs, which is the most important. So lane 1 is for people ready to test the fix. Lane 2 is for the people who want to see the exposure with 0 commitments. So join lane for the teams you want to solve both at once. Pick based on what you can do this week, not what you'll do eventually. I encourage you, please bring the most complicated early documents. Let's make them behave, automate your exceptions for good. We're ready for that.
I want to actually check with the audience. It appears that the chat may not be working, that it may be disabled. And if you were trying to put something in and wasn't able to, I guess we will need to see what's with the setup, but please bear with us and do send those questions or any suggestions to the email which you will receive with the recording. Where we are right now is really a great place to actually have a deeper conversation are about your experiences. And what we put together for you is the next step, which you can do if you really want to tackle it literally this quarter. If you want to review and get prepared, and I'll go over the regulatory, the rules side, so to speak, and then we'll go over the operational side. You have a chance to become preemptive in this AI compliance, which is coming, and also have a small yet very practical change in your workflow so that your documents become really intelligent. And I wanted to highlight, we are explicitly and specifically shared the types of rules and regulations which exist in all these jurisdictions. So the first one is about the states. They are the SECs, the enforcer, and you've seen how harsh they look at it. Essentially, the most important part that the enforcement of the next stage, which is much broader, is coming in 14 days. So if you have any clients in the states or you work with registrants there, this directly impacts you. And again, reach out, we can talk further if this is something which you care for. In the EU, again, if you have any clients there, then the act is already in place. And the next, all of these acts are staged. So they have certain amount of our, let's put it that way, of their companies who they are under their jurisdiction, and certain type of rules, and they're enforcing in stages. So the next enforcement, which is much broader in the EU, is 9 months away, but the act is already in place. And currently they care for high risk. So they're already watching for any of those type of solutions. And in 9 months, they will be pretty much our monitoring broader. Next is in Canada, we have the OSFI regulator, and they already published what they're going to oversee. It's very deep and detailed. I must say it's one of the strongest requirements what I've seen in the world, and it's 18 months away. But for larger organizations, if you don't start preparing now, especially with AI, where you invest a lot of money in, let's say, training and doing things, and then you have to untrain, we're talking about millions, literally millions in the cost. In Qatar or in the Middle East, this is the strongest jurisdiction. They already have their regulator passed the AI guidelines for finance sector. It's in effect. If you are in Qatar or running anything, running business with Qatar in finance sector, you are exposed. In Saudi, they have SDAIA, who is the regulator, and they already drafted the law, and they expect it to be passed again, literally in a few months. And ultimately, in UAE, they do have two different, as usual, the most active is either the Dubai finance sector, the DIFC, or the Abu Dhabi. Both of them have things in place. This is more of a framework, which is, I would say, principles, but they're actively working on getting enclosed and getting to enforcement. So as you can see, for those of you who have not had a chance to review what's happening globally in terms of the rules, they are converging. And regulators are coming in very hard. So pretty much everything what we do in finance currently touches some sort of AI-enabled solutions. And again, I want to emphasize last thing. It's very important to know that if you use a vendor who's using AI, you may also be asked to explain. And then please share what you're seeing, and then we'll go back to what we are offering for you to get this fixed.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Great points. So it's definitely time to arm yourself with the knowledge and with the evidence of what's happening with your technology stack and how things are working, not only for efficiency of your financial departments, for procurement departments, but also for the legal side of the process, right? So not only accountants and head of departments want to rest assured that everything entered, all the data entered perfectly without exceptions, without errors, but also you need to be on the safe side that you're using technology that is certified and being audited in correct way, and the regulatory will not ask any questions or do any extra penalties. So yeah, let's continue.
So ultimately, this is why we build a workshop. The workshop to help you get started and deal with both operations automation and compliance in one day. Of course, it does not mean that in one day you gotta have everything fixed. We all know that that doesn't work that way. Yet, what's really important is in this workshop, and I'll talk from what we bring from Next Frontier's perspective. We have an ISO-based framework on how to prepare companies to be compliant with AI regulations, and essentially how to be audit ready in simple terms. And that we are going to work with you, with whoever's coming to the workshop, and help you build 3 foundational documents, and then work with you to help you install in your operations. And the documents are the AI policy, which ultimately talks about what's the intended use of AI, what humans can do, what AI can do, and what the boundaries are, what is not to be done. Second is the register of all the AI tools which a company is using. And it's both for your direct use or for what vendors are using. Because as I mentioned, it's important to be very transparent and explicit in these lists. And the third is the actual log or the traceability of how the changes, where AI is touching things, or what humans are doing, what's the oversight, and how exceptions are being handled. All of that, while we have from regulators, first of all, what's important to highlight, each of them have a different requirement or set of requirements. None of them provide clear guidance. None of them provide templates. All of them expect you to follow the rules. It's a lot of fun right now. I'm calling it Wild West because everybody's building and the regulators are saying, oh, no, we need to do something with it. So they're passing these emergency laws. And then we have these horrific results when firms are being penalized, but really they didn't have practically a chance to prepare. So this is what we are fixing with this. We will help those who come and work with us to arrive at something which we've validated represents more than 40% of readiness across those jurisdictions, because the ISO is the international standard and the framework which is built on the ISO works across the regions. And perhaps then, if maybe we can go back for a second, maybe Dan can talk more about what you are going to gain about, not about, but when you're coming on operations automation side, we've prepared something quite magnificent because it's literally the integrations which you can get once you come and work with the docs at the workshop.
Yeah, thank you, Ludmila. So coming to our workshop, you'll get a lot of practical stuff. The first thing is you'll get opportunity to bring your documents or your requests, your problems, and we will work with it live during the workshop, and we'll create the template for your specific documents with you, and you will get it out of the event. You'll understand how it happens, how the templates works, how easy it is to create one, how to train a system with any complex documents, and what you will get as an outcome when you train our system and when you process the documents. So you will see what type of data you will get as outcome. You will see how high quality it has, and what is the steps during this operation, how everything works from the backend.
And I would say that bring your toughest documents, which cause all these exceptions and the pain, to the workshop and see how the doc solution can process them. Try to break the docs. And also, what's important, it's not that we will be only checking if hard documents can be processed, but we also will help you to integrate in your existing systems. If you're using QuickBooks, maybe using some others, this is the solution which is integratable through APIs to any financial system. In that way, literally at the workshop, if you've ever wanted to try but didn't have the time or didn't want to hire someone or essentially invest in the integrations, you have an opportunity to deal with this immediately on the spot, and the team will help you to embed this solution in your workflow so that you have it working right after. That's our offer, that's our commitment in helping you to become more effective in operations and also to become much more protected. It matters these days because insurers are asking, what's your AI governance? The regulators are asking, the clients are asking. Currently, more than 250 RFPs, enterprise RFPs now require the clause or the explanation how you are managing your AI. So the train has left the station. And finally, if we are, yes, there is a QR code, and of course the links will be provided. And finally, if you are not ready for the workshop, let's move on. Then we have Anastasia, if we can change the slide to the next one, please. Thank you. Yes, exactly. We fully understand not everyone may be ready. Maybe you're very busy, or depending on the situation, that's the year end. There are two ways where you can still test things on your own at your speed and completely with no strings attached. The first one is you have an extension instead of 14-day trial. For those of you who register through these webinar, there is a 1 month free use of this solution, which is pretty great because we all know that the processing of documents cost, obviously on the LLM side and on the processing side. And you can work through your process, see how your documents are arriving in the system which you currently have. And most importantly, even if, again, it's not limited to just, let's say, invoices or statements, etc., which were shown, it can be any other document. Maybe you're working in investment advisory or some other R. It is still fully applicable because there is no limit to you to create different templates. This AI is learning from you and from your documents. As you've probably heard, it can. And as a result, this is your option to extend the trial to 1 month. And of course, if you come to the workshop, it still applies. But then you'll be able to actually leave the workshop with a working solution. And another one, if you're not really interested or not ready for the operations, our operations takeover, rehaul or re-engineering, so to speak, improvement, then you can run a very simple 10-minute AI risk score. The links will be provided, and it's about 5 pillars or 5 axes which we use to test where the gaps are and where things work. You invest 10 minutes. It's completely self-paced, no calls, no conversations. You'll receive the report in your mailbox and you'll know where you are. So choose one, test the tech, or assess your exposure, or ultimately sit down with us and redesign your work. Dan, is there something which you'd love to say in closure for this conversation, because we are coming up to the end of the hour?
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. So we're not talking about just a software. It's your sanity, safety, and strategy. So we're here to get your operations on the next level of understanding regulations and compliance.
Terrific. Yes, we'll keep this on so that you can, for those of you who want to scan the QR code, please go ahead. And of course, thanks to Anastasia. Thank you for our wonderful host, you will receive the links and the recording.
Sure, and please feel free to email us. You can answer to our emails if you have any additional questions, or if you want to speak, for example, with Dan or Ludmila regarding your AI journey and AI that you can reconcile at your everyday operations, because it's the end of the month and it's a very good day to eliminate part of your work and allow AI to do it for you.
And
100%.
if you haven't caught that, the workshop we're planning in the middle of December. The dates are up there. Thank you everyone for your time. We really appreciate you here, and we are glad to share our knowledge and our expertise with you.
Great. Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, and see you soon.
See you soon on our workshop and on trial. Thank you.
Thank you.